Here at Enablecode, we're proving that Vietnamese people with disabilities are not just capable of doing work, but they can do very high-skilled work. So the programmers we have here every day, they're doing mobile applications, ERP systems, websites for clients all over the world, especially in America, in Australia, in Singapore and Europe. So this really is proving that disability doesn't mean that you can't think and do great programming and design work. In Vietnam, there's a very big business for foreign exchange agents. So I'm thinking here of small hotels out in the countryside changing money for tourists, agencies in, for example, airports, railway stations, in tourist areas. So there's loads of little companies doing this. Now, the State Bank of Vietnam changed the regulations and quite sensibly asked that each transaction should be fully recorded. Who's making the transaction, exactly how much is it, and has the identity of the person being verified, especially if they're a foreigner. Now, there are pieces of software out there for foreign exchange agents that is being used in other countries, but most other countries don't quite have these regulations in place for capturing as much detail on the consumer who's taking the transaction. So, how do we solve this? The usual systems involve a lot of additional equipment. So you need scanners, you need signature machines, you need a separate server for a desktop. And the small agencies and hotels won't be able to necessarily afford this or wish to really set this up. Now this is what led to us having the idea of putting all of this on an application. So what's happening is the State Bank rate has been daily updated for all the currency combinations onto the system. Now, as the agent logs onto the system, they can Bluetooth that information up to an advertising screen on a television, which helps them get more customers. Then a customer comes up to them and says, okay, I have $100 I want to change it. So they can very quickly put in that transaction and show the customer, even if they don't speak Vietnamese, so let's say in English or Chinese or Korean, what the amount they're going to get in dong from that transaction. So this also makes sure you get the right rate and that the agent, the sales agent, who may not be that sophisticated, doesn't make an accounting error as they do that transaction. The customer's happy, you press OK. Then you can take the customer's passport or ID card and you take a photo of it. This is a scanner as well. Using quite simple OCR technology, it then reads that information and puts it on the screen. You verify it. So sometimes you have to retake the photo or it hasn't quite read the name correctly. You can manually correct it. And then you press OK, that the transaction can go through. That then connects back to the database to record the transaction for internal accounting purposes and can help you generate a receipt to the customer as you're doing that. Now, who is the potential customer for this application? It would be one of the big banks in Vietnam who has a foreign exchange license. Now, using this, they could really gain market share using compliance as a competitive advantage. So, if they are complying properly with the new State Bank regulations and collecting all that information and other people aren't doing it properly, then they are at a competitive advantage. Now, the other way they could, as an add-on to this, it's not part of the app itself, but if they look at the agency agreements and give a fairer split of the commission to the agents, this will allow the agents to actually sell to the tourists at the correct rate. It is common practice, unfortunately, where some people do a worse rate for the end customer to get a higher commission. But this application does actually control that, so it really does work in compliance in two different ways. And that way, the tourist is being offered a better exchange rate, the official exchange rate, by the bank that's running this. And of course, the customer is shopping around for the best rate, especially in a place like a public tourist area. And you can get major public market share by using this system. So in summary, the advantages of this product: it increases compliance, it can improve profitability for a bank, it improves customer service, it improves the identification of customers. So it's good for agents out in the countryside as well. But most of all, it gives Enablecode an additional credibility which helps our social cause. So what we're wanting to do is get that message out there that disabled people in Vietnam can build products like this. So if millions of people start using, as consumers, this product, if thousands of agents are using this product, we can publicize this to say disabled people designed and built this product. And that will go on to change and make better the lives of millions of disabled people in Vietnam.